Welcome back. How did you go with getting the Perlin noise to work in the previous video? Well, I'm going to go through this now with you. But before I do, I'd just like to remind you to subscribe to show your support for this channel. And don't forget that you can use this coupon at h3dlearn.com anytime to pick up this course. And the code for these tutorials is always available to Patreon members. We've come to the custom terrain script that we wrote before. Here's the Perlin noise method that we wrote very, very early. I'm just going to pick all of that code up. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go over into my T-controller code. We want to do that code over and over again for every terrain, so we can put it inside of here. Now, at this point, there's a few things missing that we don't actually have. And first of all, I've noticed that I've got my Perlin offset Y. I've actually reverted back to a Z value. So let's call that Z and Z there. And my octaves, I actually spelt wrong up here, which you might have been yelling at the screen in the previous lecture about. So I'll just change that to a V. So this code is now pretty much ready to go. The things we need to do is for the height map in this particular case, I'm just going to set this to a brand new empty height map. Okay, so we'll just go new float, and the size of that will be based on our height map values, which is this HMR value, which I haven't got defined. So let's just define it up in here. So we'll go int HMR equals. Now this actually has to be based on the terrain data for each terrain, and outside of here we're not getting any access to it. So let me just grab that and move it down into here, and then we'll say terrain dot terrain data dot height map resolution, like that. And then our height map is HMR comma HMR in size. Okay, so we then have our for loops that are going to loop around this one. Let me just put some brackets in here so we can clearly see which loops are doing what. Okay, so we've got our outer loop and our inner loop. This is Z. Let's not mix this up with a Y in here, and make sure I've got Z's. Of course, if you've got Y and you understand what's going on with the Y, then just use the Y value. And then for the setting of the terrain data, it's in each separate terrain, so you have to do it like that. So that's taking pretty much exactly the same code that we were using before in the terrain editor and using it in our terrain system, our multi-terrain. So let's save that, and we'll flick back over into Unity and have a look at what we get when we reload this. Okay, so using those default values, you can now see that we ended up with something that looks like this. Now, it's not exactly continuous, is it? Do you know what you're actually looking at with these Perlin height values on these multiple terrains? Well, you're looking at exactly the same set of heights on each terrain. Okay, so this is your middle terrain. Over on this side here, you've got this little curve, this data that's making that particular hump there, and that's exactly the same values that this terrain is getting over here. Why is that? Well, it's because the code is actually using the height map resolution. Remember, the height map resolution is the 2D matrix that has all the height values in it across the entire terrain. Now, its index values are 0, 0, and then up to whatever the resolution is. So what, 513, okay, 512 plus 1. So that would be 513. So we would be going from 0, 0 here and calculating a height from our Perlin noise based on 0, 0. For this terrain, when we do this terrain, we start here, we use 0, 0 again. So we get exactly the same height as we did back here. We don't want that, obviously. We want it to be continuous across a whole bunch of terrains. That means, and the only way you can actually do this is, instead of using the height map value or location in the height map, we want to get that position of the terrain's world position and then figure out the height and put it into the height map. So that if this is 0, 0 here, by the time we get to this terrain here, then the world value for this position here, let's say it's going to be 0 in the x, because we haven't changed the x direction, but it would be like 1,000 in the z direction. So it's actually going to calculate a different Perlin height value. Okay, are you with me? So we're going to go from basically relative positioning within each terrain to absolute positioning so that we get Perlin calculated over the entire world. Right, so let's go back into our code and make those modifications. So in here, instead of using the x and z values, which are your height map values, we want to convert them into their sort of relative world positions. So up here, let's create a float for world position x, and that's going to equal x divided by float HMR. So we reduce it back to sort of normalize it, I guess, out of the range that it is, and then we multiply it by terrain data dot size dot x, and we do the same thing for our z. So we're going to copy that, put in the z values here, so z and z and z, and then we're going to put our world positions in here instead of the x and the z. So world position x and world position z. Okay, so everything else pretty much is going to stay the same. A quick note at this point, if you're getting error messages while you're trying to run this on validate method in Unity. Now, I'm not getting them on my Mac in the version of Unity that I'm using, but Adrian, who's using the same version of Unity and checking through this, and he's on Windows, is actually getting an error. So in order to fix that, if you are getting it, you can relegate this on validate to only run in the Unity editor by using the directives, the #if Unity editor around the whole thing. And the other thing you can do is to assign your on validate to a Unity delegate, which will make sure that it runs at the end of the inspector, updating everything else that it needs to do in the background. So if you're getting errors, try putting this around your on validate method. So let's save that and have a look at what we get back in our editor. So once that refreshes itself and that on validate runs, we're going to get something like this, which you might think, okay, that didn't work. Well, let me tell you, it did kind of work. We're not calculating these values based on 0, 0 there and 0, 0 there as we were before. We're actually calculating a continuous value, because if you look at, say, different parts of the terrain, it might not be that obvious with these particular ones, but I mean, this data for heights here is different from the height value there, even though it kind of looks the same in this particular example, but trust me, it's not. So there's something else now going on in here that's causing us issues, and when I was trying to figure this out, it took me ages to figure it out. So what we're going to do in the next video when we come back, I'm actually show you what I did to figure out what was going on and then how we can actually fix it.